Hello and welcome to episode 57 of Life in General. My name is Nick.
And I'm Ian.
Hello, Ian.
Hi, Nick. Or should I say hi, Nick?
What the fuck? I don't know what the hell all that was.
I don't either.
Today we are joined by Mandy again.
Hello.
She's the light of our podcast.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
No.
Hey, you know what? I think the episodes
I'm just here for the party.
the episodes we've had you on have been really good.
So you're here for the disappointment?
I
You are
guess
married
so.
to Nick, so I guess that kind of goes with the territory.
Whoa.
Shots fired. I'm just kidding.
There's been a couple times she hasn't been disappointed.
Hasn't been or has been?
Hasn't been. Has not.
Oh.
Like,
3 times.
yep. Bingo, bango.
And you have 3 children.
Exactly.
So, as always, you can email us any questions or comments to contact@lifeingeneralpodcast.com. Check us out on Twitter @LIGpod. We're on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, Google Play Music, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, all that stuff. We're on Spotify also, iHeartRadio. Check us out on our website, which is lifeingeneralpodcast.com. Of course, I spent like 15 episodes asking Ian all that stuff, and he could never figure out any of it. But then he started like learning all of it, so I stopped asking him.
Yeah.
Because it
Well, give it another
you took
5
all,
or 10.
You took all the fun out of it.
5 or 10 more shows. I'm going to forget.
Oh, okay.
Then you can start.
Because it was
asking
like
me.
I could always like bash on Ian for 1, not knowing anything related to the podcast, and 2, not having any notes.
So what you're saying is you're a bully. You zero in on a weakness and you attack it.
So we've known each other for like 30 years, and you're just not figuring this out?
Yeah. No, I've always known it.
Oh, okay. You just accepted it? Is that what it is? Mandy,
Much like everything else
Yes,
about you.
yes, you are.
Much like everything else about you. Yes, I've just accepted it.
Well, whatever.
We have to accept a lot of things.
So before we get into our topic,
Uh-huh.
I was gonna like veer us off real quick.
Oh, that's so out of character of you, Nick. We're out of the character of the show.
Why is that?
I'm being
Because I was-
sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic, actually. I'm sorry, Mandy. I was just saying our show always veers off somewhere.
Yes. Typically in the beginning, and then we like veer back, and then we veer off again, and then we veer back. I think that's kind of one of the charms of our
It's like
show. I
drunk
guess.
driving.
Then you crash and die. What? What, Mandy?
What's up, Mandy?
No. Okay.
So back on episode, I think it was 43, if memory serves me correct,
Okay.
we discussed if rock and roll was dead.
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Where am I going with this?
You're going to a band that you've recently discovered.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the rock and roll is alive. I would say the rock and roll is probably on life support.
Yeah.
But at
it
least
probably
I-
was when we discussed it too. even before
Yeah,
you knew
but
about this
at
band.
least, so after the show, one of our coworkers mentioned several times to me that Ian and I just don't listen to the right kind of music. Or we don't listen to enough music to find good rock.
Which is funny because, like, between the two of you, I have never known a bigger spread of music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair to say.
It's like you guys listen to
A
everything.
lot of stuff,
yes.
Everything.
Yeah.
Between the two of you.
Between the two of us, yeah, I'd agree with that. Because Ian listens to like
Please tell me he's not.
Ian listens to like 1968 to like 1984, and I listen to like 1950 to like yesterday.
No.
No,
No.
well, what, Mandy? Please tell me what.
I just, no, I hope this guy is not
What?
talking about what I think you're talking about. The band that we're listening to tonight.
Yes.
Oh,
well, no,
God.
not
But that's where I'm
specifically.
going. So
Not
Yeah, that's
specifically
where
about
that's
this.
where
So-
he's going.
Yes.
That's where I'm going. So, you know, because my whole idea was that rock and roll isn't necessarily dead. It was just you didn't see any like iconic albums. Was kind of my basis being a little thing. And so last week, Greta Van Fleet was on. They were on Saturday Night Live, and I'd never listened to the band before.
I have.
I mean, I've heard of them.
Right.
They're nominated for several Grammys this year. So I listened to them, and I mean that's kind of all I've listened to for the past week.
They're
And
good. I mean,
They are, but the other thing is you also have to remember is they're also very young.
very young. The argument that I have
thought they
against
were-
it. Oh, God, I'm sorry.
I thought they were older.
No, they're
No.
like 22, 21, 22 years old.
Yeah, they're very young, relatively speaking. I mean, they're the age that old rock stars started at when they were young, but
I thought they came back a long time. All right.
No, so
but I guess the only thing in this is a common argument with them is that they sound a little too much like Led Zeppelin, but they're young.
Hold on.
They're young.
I would argue that by saying,
excuse me, I'm sorry.
There are a couple of songs where they lyrically the vocals are
Very
Led Zeppelin-esque, but the music really isn't. And they've got a lot of songs that they don't sound like. He doesn't sing like
Robert Plant
at all. So I mean, is there some comparison? Yeah, but is there a comparison to most of the other bands throughout history? Yeah, there's the same argument that you made for most bands in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
No.
Yeah, I mean, Mandy agrees with that.
I do. They all
because she's nodding her head, so that's what I was talking for.
Well,
they all sounded alike. I mean,
a lot of them.
But really. I did not know Robert Plant was part of
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
he's the lead singer. Yeah.
Yeah,
but take
was
Led
he
Zeppelin.
Also the guy that did the Models movie, like the Models.
No.
You're thinking of Robert Palmer.
You're thinking of Robert Palmer.
All right, leave me alone.
Robert Palmer's dead.
I cannot contribute right now.
Yeah.
But
I think it's the second time we've brought up Robert Palmer on the show.
But you mean even like through the 90s, through the explosion of the grunge era, a lot of those bands
were compared to the 70s. 60s,
no,
70s.
we're all compared to each other. You know, you sounded like Pearl Jam, or you sound like Stone Temple Pilots, or you sound like Mudhoney, or you sound like Alice in Chains. A lot of them bands.
I would agree. I would say that it wasn't so much back in the late 60s and early 70s. Bands that sounded too much alike didn't get record labels.
But my whole point, the point I'm trying to get to is, do they sound like anything that's out today?
No.
And that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
They're in stark contrast to music today. A lot of like rock music today, rock, quote unquote rock, and some of it's good. Is like the poppy kind of rock, but there's a lot of synthesizers, a lot of synthesized music basically, and that's
I think it's fine as long as it's done in balance. With
and that's
real
one thing you
instruments.
don't have with Greta Van Fleet. It's about big drums, big guitars, big vocals. It's the same thing that the
as long as
the whole 70s rock
I
era
haven't
was
listened
about.
to it too much. As long as the lyrics aren't like. My biggest problem with some of the harder rock that's come out in the last, say, 15 years is that musically it could be put up with like Metallica, but lyrically it could
It's
just
Hanson.
it could
Hanson.
or Backstreet Boys. It's all just fucking love songs. No offense to love songs, but there's too many of them. Do something. Write a song about something else.
And lyrically, a lot of their songs are kind of vague. I mean, I've listened to every one of their songs. They only have. They have a double EP that they had an EP that they released, but they released all that onto a double EP called From the Fires, and then they just released
their first
studio album late last year.
Okay.
So they don't have a big catalog, but I listened to their all their songs multiple times, and I don't get the same. I mean, it just like I said, it's. What are you shaking your head for, Mandy?
I didn't like it. That's all.
I mean,
well, no,
don't
and
call me out.
That's fair enough.
I'm not ready yet to.
That's fair enough because first of all, your wheelhouse isn't rock music. You don't really like rock music,
especially like 70s rock music,
right,
and that's
as a rule, which is fine. And so it would be like if I came down here and he was listening to, Justin Timberlake. I get it. It's fine. I don't. It's not my kind of music.
Mandy's musical taste is more than boy bands.
I understand that.
Well, that's what I was asking.
I mean, Mandy grew up listening to Journey and Boston and those kind of bands also.
Right.
And do you compare them also to like Fall Out Boy? Like, is that rock? Do we?
It's
compare
a different.
them
It's
to,
in the rock.
Pilots?
It's
like, what
so
is this?
like we've talked before. Rock is just a very big umbrella, and there's a lot of subgenres that go into rock. There's metal. There's progressive rock. There's alternative. There's there's
Fall Out
punk,
Boy,
there's punk
21
rock.
Pilots. Those are rock bands.
Them. Yes,
those are rock bands.
Mm-hmm.
Different type of rock bands. That's all. That's
Well,
just
so what I'm hoping is, obviously, I'm hoping that Greta Van Fleet is able to progress and grow as a band, which I'm sure they will. They're a very young band.
They're young.
They're young. They're very.
I've been disappointed before.
Musically, though, they don't play like they're young kids. If you take the vocals out of it and listen to just the music, they don't sound like they're 20 to 23
I guess that's
years
where
old.
I disagree because I listen to the vocals, where some people listen to
just the music, just the guitar,
the band.
I try to listen to it all, but
But it's where you grow up. I'm a vocalist, so
Right.
I hear
Yeah.
the vocals. So other people hear the band, they hear the music.
Well,
Yeah, no.
that's a big
If you're a
big
guitar
difference.
player, you're going to focus in on the guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear the vocals. You don't care
a
about
lot
the
of
vocals.
rock music isn't about the vocals, though. It's about
It's one part of a bigger picture.
It's about the
But that's what I
it's
mean.
about the emotion
Yeah.
that the music creates in the individual.
But that's
that's,
what I mean.
that's like the whole punk music, the whole punk scene from the 70s until even the last couple of years. Punk music isn't about what you're singing about. It is to a certain extent. It's about a message a lot of times, but it's also mainly
the
about
aggression.
the aggression, the emotion.
I have to disagree because as a vocalist, that's what I listen to.
Right.
I listen to the vocals. I listen to the words. I do not care about the band. I hate when the drums overpower everything, when the guitar overpowers everything. I want to hear the vocals. So I listen to like the actual words.
I understand
of the
that.
songs.
I understand that. But what I'm saying though is there's music out there that's not what the focus is.
Well, it's not going to be for everybody.
I know.
Right, no,
For
it's not.
vocalists are going to pick up on the vocals.
Yeah. But what I'm saying though is when the band is recording the music,
People that are not
it's about
into
it's
the people
about
that
getting
don't
that
play
aggression to
music
come
are
through
gonna-
the music.
people that don't play and don't do music are going to listen to the aggression side of it.
So anyway, I'm hoping that there are more bands like them that come along, rather that are able
Like-
to like Greta Van Fleet
Just in the
to,
sense
to
that,
bring back that kind of 70s rock sound.
which, this is not the first time that's happened, though. I mean, we had Jet and, I can't remember, there's a couple bands like that came out, say, about 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
Jet. And
Yeah, but they
I
weren't.
can't remember. It started with Franz Ferdinand. And
Yeah.
bands like that, they kind of had that 70s, early 80s kind of rock sound to them. And what happened? They just faded.
Yeah, I know, but
That
because
music did.
I don't. Well,
Unfortunately.
Jet had one good song,
You say
and
that.
I listened to their whole album. When
Yeah.
it came out,
It was okay.
that was the
I
only.
mean,
that
yeah, it
was the
wasn't
only.
great.
That was the only decent.
Well,
song.
I mean, you say that, but it's just as easy for a singer artist to come out and just disappear. Rock, if you think about it, there's a reason why bands that are like the band members are still in their 60s and 70s and they're still selling out venues because people are
But
still
are they
looking
selling
for
out
it.
venues for those 2-3 songs?
No, because
No.
not really. No.
So how many, like when Journey goes and plays something, people are,
I would
are
say
there for like
60%.
all of their
60% of the audience probably is.
No.
40% is there to hear.
I would
that
vice
one
versa
song.
that. I would vice versa. 60% are there to hear "Don't Stop
Yeah.
Believe."
Nah, it may be, but there's
Are
a
there
large
I
percentage
will
of people
say-
who are there because that's their band.
I
and
will
they love
say
every song.
that there are bands out there that a majority of the audience is there to hear one song.
Right.
Because I cannot name more than 1 or 2 songs for all of these bands that you guys are naming.
But I would never go to a concert of a band I only knew one song of.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Especially nowadays, the price of tickets is
They're
so
ridiculous.
high.
Well, not now, but
Yeah,
I guess it
but
depends.
they're
on-
still
and
selling.
they're not gonna their prices are not gonna be what they were before. Like these.
Stones tickets are $150 for nosebleeds. That's starting
and,
price.
well, I'm
Even
not granted the
alive?
Rolling Stones.
I
No
mean,
one, no
give,
one,
give me a freaking break. Is he even alive?
no
Rolling
one,
Stones?
No one goes to see the Rolling Stones for one song.
No.
though.
That's
Nobody.
my point. That's my point.
It's
I
like-
would never go to see them because I know nothing that they sing.
You do.
I
You
don't.
do.
I do after you say it, but I don't know that.
Yeah,
Like,
just
I
off
don't-
the top of your head, you don't know it.
If
yeah.
somebody says name a Rolling Stone songs, I can say no, I know none.
Painted Black. Yeah, it's-
Ruby Tuesday,
But I
Tuesday.
can sing them all.
Yeah. And
She's a Rainbow.
the big bands, your Aerosmiths, your Rolling
Well,
Stones,
that's-
those kind of bands. That
It's the same thing.
You can't put Aerosmith.
Yes,
in
you
there.
can.
Yeah,
Because
you can.
Aerosmith's a very overrated band.
Post like 1989, yes, I would agree with that.
Well, before that, they still were underground. They didn't really hit their stride until '89.
What are you talking about? They were huge.
They were huge
In the
for
s-
like 3 years
in the 70s,
and then they
from,
burned out.
Still
from
huge.
71 until 78. They were one of the biggest bands in the world.
They burned out though, and then you didn't hear about them. They didn't even perform for years.
That was
they didn't hit their
the
huge
biggest,
stride.
The biggest like CD I had growing up was like the Aerosmith. CD.
Yeah, but
Which
that's
one?
But that was
big
like the,
ones.
Well, that's a compilation
That's
album.
yeah. it's
Okay,
great
well, that
stuff.
was still like their.
Yeah, what you're talking about is that resurgence when they hit their stride in the late '80s, with Love in an Elevator, Janie's Got a Gun.
Well, that was
Wild
'87.
Side.
Well, in the 90s.
But prior to that, they had Walk This Way with Run DMC.
That was
which-
'85. Nick.
I
There's
know
2
that.
years.
I know that. But what I'm saying though is you're talking
That was
about
the resurgence.
There was a gap from about 78 until 84, 85.
Right. The other bands I'm
Oh, my
talking about, there
gosh.
were no gaps.
For who?
Which
For-
band?
For
The
the
Stones.
The Rolling Stones. A lot of people would argue that they've had a gap since about the mid 70s.
Yeah, well, but their output has not stopped.
Oh, correct.
Every 4 or 5 years,
but there's
they
a lot
put
of
something out.
there's a lot of
they're
bands that
five
put a lot of
fans. I
shit
mean-
out though.
Yeah, well, that's fair. But
I mean, it just because you release an album every 3 or 4 years doesn't mean it's any good.
Right.
The Rolling Stones have had what? One
we're
hit,
just
one,
now.
one hit in the last 30 years.
I guess my point is that these artists from the 60s and 70s are still performing. They're still selling tickets, like for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that's unprecedented. We're only now starting to see that kind of happen with your generation of music, with the New Kids on the Block and the Backstreet Boys, who are now coming back after being gone for many years. And yes, they're selling records, they're selling tickets.
Those are us big
Now,
fans that.
Yes, but are they going? The question's still going to remain: when they're in their 60s and 70s, will they be up on stage?
I guess I don't know because
We don't know.
They've come back,
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
and we've all
That's all I'm
blown
saying.
our shit to buy
Yes,
tickets.
Yeah.
that's my
Go
point.
back to see them. So
That's my point. There's longevity.
which is the same thing as people that go back and do that for Rolling Stones, or people that
Yeah.
go back and do that for others.
And kind of so back to kind of what I was talking about was kind of the 70s. Pretty much everyone agrees the 1970s were like the golden age of rock and roll.
Late 60s into 70s, yeah.
Yeah,
So
like
say
like
60s
Definition of rock and roll.
every single year throughout the 70s, there
There's
was
a-
some kind of monumental rock album released, multiple of them every single year, iconic albums. And there's been a long gap of that
Yeah.
since then. I mean, because rock really changed obviously in the 80s and in the 90s with grunge.
But do you look back and think, like, when you hear Journey, Don't Stop Believing, is that a pop song now?
It kind of was then.
It was a
kinda
pop
was
song,
then.
but it was supposed to be rock. Like, they were rock, right?
yeah, well,
It was
So that's what I mean. Like, do you go back and look at some of these songs and, like,
Well,
early
kinda
80s.
you have to
compare
rock.
it.
understand that in the 70s, the songs, the Stones and all that, their songs that you look at, that you personally look at just as rock songs, those were pop songs. They were played on the
Right.
radio, just
so
like
that's what I mean. Like,
Lady Gaga is today. You
Right.
know?
so where
Pop-
do we
pop
where do
is
we
different,
define rock and pop now? Because they were pop back then.
Well,
It
kind
just
of what we're
wasn't pop.
talking about is kind of like a subset of pop, because that period that he's talking about, the pop was the outside stuff. It was the harder rock, the stuff that
But
was more fringy. Before that, you had your Elvises and your Buddy Hollies. That was pop.
How about this? How about
And then after that, you had the '80s with Madonna and stuff.
the
That
kind
was
of way
pop.
I look at it is the difference is pop music is stuff that's recorded to be popular. You know,
Well, every artist-
Which is a lot of these rock
your
bands
were-
your Nickelbacks and things. There's a lot of bands throughout.
Well, that's
hold on,
21st
hold on.
century music,
But that's what I'm
though.
talking about. Is and that's what I'm talking about. Greta Van Fleet versus popular music nowadays, popular rock nowadays.
Yeah, they're not going to get.
Is a lot of music today. It seems like, and we've seen it over the last 20 years. A band will have like one hit, and then all their music kind of sounds like the
just like
same
that.
because
Yeah, that
they're
was
trying,
my point
because
I
they're
made
trying to
earlier.
make pop music. They're trying to make popular music that
Well, they're just trying to
appeal
sell.
to everyone.
The diff-
Whereas I think there
yeah.
are bands out there that are like, you know what, we're going to make our music regardless of who likes it. We're going to make our music.
It's always been that way, though. I mean, even in the '60s and '70s, you had.
But that's why I think
But,
where
I mean,
a lot of where
going
your pop
to
rock
something
comes
that
from.
I'm far more familiar with in terms of how the side of the business that I've heard interviews on. Take Jethro Tull, for example. They were on tour in the U.S. in '69. Their record label and their management said, "We need a hit in Britain to keep you guys relevant over here."
Yeah.
Because obviously there's no internet and everything.
There's no
So-
TV.
So,
well, there's no MTV.
we
at least.
need a radio hit. So Ian Anderson writes "Living in the Past."
Yeah.
Now, granted, he wrote it as like, this will never get on the fucking radio.
It's a good song.
It's a good song, but he wrote a pop song in 7/9 time.
Yeah.
It's just it didn't happen back then. So he takes it and he sends it over. Okay, now they've got a hit. The record labels were just as conscious and aware of keeping popular music on the radio, keeping their artists relevant on the radio. So that part really hasn't changed. It's just the extent to which they go.
Now it's an entire album.
Right. Back then they said, "Hey, we need a hit. Write a hit song." Now they say, "We need a hit. Write the song just like the last hit you had."
Yeah, and I mean, you're right. You're right. There's always been, I've seen it in multiple interviews from bands over the years. They always talked about, oh well, we need to have a hit song. So this is the song we kind of wrote to fit that model. But like I said, now it's an entire album. You're having a whole album where
it's back then it was one or two songs. Now you're right. It's.
Did we just see the Queen movie? I mean, that kind of showed us exactly.
Yeah. Comes out on digital on February 12th. I'm super excited.
But I mean, it showed us.
It came out on digital last week.
Did it really?
January 22nd.
Oh, maybe it's the DVD. That's
DVD comes out.
I'm waiting for the Blu-ray because it's gonna have the extended.
So the digital.
Oh, did it?
Yes, the digital has
the extended Live Aid show. Well, I'm gonna go buy. I'm gonna buy it then.
Yep.
I know what I'm watching this weekend. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
So,
what were you saying?
Well, I mean, I think that showed us a lot of what
kind of how the 70s industry, the industry worked.
We want to do this. Oh no, we want you to play this fancy song,
right,
to make you more popular.
From what I understand, the whole interaction in Bohemian Rhapsody with the record executive never happened.
No, but it did paint a picture of
that was fake. The one with who was the guy that played
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers.
Interactions similar to that occurred, but that was kind of like multiple situations that they kind of coupled into one.
The record industry, the record company, it's true that one of the record executives didn't want to release Bohemian Rhapsody as a single. That is
true.
Too
long. Because it was like 6 minutes long.
Because it was too long. But the whole exchange never really happened.
And that
they never really quit. They never quit the record company. And
that's consistent with Counting Crows in '99. They released This Desert Life. And there's a song on it called Mrs. Potter's Lullaby. It's 8 minutes long. They wanted them to edit it so they could play it on the radio because it's a good song. It's a radio-friendly song.
Uh-huh.
Adam Duritz said, no, absolutely not. You're not editing this song because this is the song. This is it. Because it's not really a musically driven song. It's more vocals. It's the lyrics are consistent throughout.
Yeah. The whole thing's a story.
It's a story, exactly. You're not editing the song. So instead they gave up I forgot the name of the song.
Mrs. Jones?
No. That one popular song that was in the movie with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan Felipe, Cruel Intentions. I can't remember the fucking name of the song.
I don't know what song you're talking about.
I'll have to look it up. But they gave that song and it was a bigger hit anyway.
Talking about Accidentally in Love?
No, that was
after.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's the only one I could think of, but that was after.
No, it's that silly, sappy song. Actually, I do like the song.
I don't know what song you're talking about.
I know the song. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll look it up.
But I don't know.
If you need a topic, Russian Revolution was neither Russian nor revolution.
But oh my God.
I just think there's a good. It's a different. I don't know. I think there's a fine line between music, like. And we've had this discussion a million times.
Oh, yeah.
Because
we're all musical people.
Yes. Yeah. And if you hear music for what the musicality is. The drums, the guitar, the bass, the everything else. Some people hear music for the lyrics.
Oh yeah. I understand.
So when you hear the words, you hear the story, you hear
That's the issue you have with Rancid.
Big time.
You don't like
because
the way that
the words are horrid.
You just don't like the way he sings.
You should go to jail.
Colorblind was the name of that song I was looking up, by the way.
What are you talking about? You should go to jail.
I killed your baby today.
That's the Misfits. That's not Rancid.
I know.
Okay, well, he also whatever. Yeah, so they do like.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that
was a perfect impression of Tim Armstrong.
It's a California punk band, and that's how they are. That's how they sing. That's the sound. If you listen to Operation Ivy, it was the same way. That was the band that Tim Armstrong came from.
Mm-hmm. That's going to appeal to some people.
So
it's not going to appeal to the mass audience.
Well, yeah, and not to me. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear.
I know.
But those bands aren't making songs for the mass.
No, they're making songs for the music. Because there's a lot of people that play.
But that's a specific
Green Day, like when they bang the drums and they do like the massive guitar. I like their lyrics, but I can hear past their music
for the lyrics, for the singing. Because Billy Joe, for a punk singer,
amazing.
he's got a very good voice.
Yes, he does. But there are some that you cannot hear past.
Well, same thing with MXPX. There's a lot of you listen to. I mean, MXPX has some hardcore punk songs. They do. If you listen to like songs off of Pokin' At Ya or Life in General, or I mean, they've got some.
Hey, our namesake.
Yes.
But I love all of them because they have. He doesn't say nasty words. I guess that's the point.
Because they were a Christian punk band. Well, they were. They're no longer. But
they
so
still,
they got smart.
Stop. We're not going there. They're just nice. They have nice words. They don't scream.
Well, he does. I can
not in a nasty
I can pull up songs right now where Mike Herrera is screaming, but it's not screaming. But it's like it's not saying
there's
like
nothing wrong with a good scream to emphasize a certain specific spot.
Yeah.
But if it's all of the music, because that's what a lot of metal. Well, a lot of metal today is they call it screamo.
Yeah,
because it's just screaming.
That's all they do,
it's literally just screaming into a mic.
Yeah,
and it's terrible.
It really
fucking
is.
Terrible.
It's like mumble rap.
It's like Rancid or.
Well, it's not.
You can understand what Tim Armstrong is singing.
And it's like some of the shit from the late 80s, early 90s, like Cannibal Corpse, where it was all growling.
Yeah.
Because that's what Screamo was before. And actually, growling's come back a bit, too. Screaming and growling.
I don't think growling ever really went away.
Yeah, probably didn't.
There was that, what was that really popular Evanescence song?
I don't listen to Evanescence. I'm sorry.
But anyway,
I'm not a 15-year-old emo girl.
I don't remember what the name of the song was, but it was they had another singer from one of those growling bands in there. And if you listen to the song, he's like growling in the background.
Really?
Yes.
That's
Pete
terrible.
Wentz also does that in Fall Out Boy.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
If it's for a specific song and it makes sense with the whatever the basis of the song is, it's fine. But if it's every song, that's retarded. It just
I laughed
work.
through the entire part. I was like, what's going on right now? Jack's like, this is Pete Wentz. And I'm like, no, I don't care.
I was never a big Fall Out Boy fan, even though they did.
Honestly, I don't think I've heard any of their songs.
Oh, they've got some good music. They took their band name from my favorite Simpsons character.
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy. Yeah. The goggles do nothing.
Well, that was Radioactive Man.
I know, but it was because that was the episode where Milhouse became Fall Out Boy.
That was great. I love that episode. What, Mandy?
You guys are funny.
Oh, the Simpsons are. We just copy them.
So yeah, it was. So it's not that rock is alive at all. It's just,
and it's not that it's dead either.
It's not that. It's just seeing this band. Now, granted, their Saturday Night Live performance was not great. It was good, but they looked like a bunch of scared kids on stage if you watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm sure I can watch.
But
it's not Hulu.
But it was a decent performance. I'm not sure the songs. At least the second song was the best song to play.
Well, the second song never is. Whenever, I don't know if you noticed, at least back in the old days when I used to watch SNL, the first song was always the one you stick around, you watch for.
Yeah.
Second performance, generally it's like, eh.
By
then
true.
you just go to bed because the end of the show is there.
Because the first song they played was Black Smoke Rising, which is the song that...
I see a bad moon rising.
No.
And you're not comparing them to 70s bands?
No, actually the song is about an airplane crash in Frankenmuth.
Oh, Frankenmuth, Michigan?
Yeah, because that's where the band's from.
Oh. I'm sorry.
What?
Nothing. Never mind.
The Christmas capital of the world.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm sorry.
But, so yeah, their first song was Black Smoke Rising. Their second song, I don't remember the name of it, but it was like a slower song, and they had some organ in it and stuff. So it was, I don't know if it was
70s Hammond organ?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it wasn't, I don't know if it was the best pick for them to play, but it gave me hope for rock and roll moving forward. Because if there are more bands, if they're able, if they spawn more bands, in the years to come, I think rock and roll could be big again.
Okay. Fair enough.
I've
only listened to a handful of their songs, so I can't really specify.
Now that I filled up a half an hour with that.
Yeah.
I just wonder why you don't classify Fall Out Boy and all them as rock and roll too.
They
are.
They are.
They are.
I did anyway.
Yeah.
They're rock. They're just a different
rock.
type of rock. It's all like he said. It's all under the umbrella of rock.
Okay.
Now, I wouldn't go as far as to say like any of the boy bands fall into rock, even though there's rock elements somewhat to their music.
Sorry if you heard my ice cubes there.
Yeah, but those don't. But
I
Fall Out
still
Boy.
think of them as pop. So
Yeah. Well, some pop falls under the umbrella of rock, as you're
it
pointing out.
does, but not.
Not
Vice
as
versa.
as okay.
I wouldn't. I
can
would
see
never
that.
call bands like Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy rock and roll.
Not rock
I
and roll, but I'd say they're
disagree.
rock.
Yeah, I would say they're rock.
I would disagree. I would never call NSYNC and Backstreet Boys rock and roll.
Correct. I would
call them
never,
pop bands.
because they're pop bands.
But I would call Fall Out Boy, 21 Pilots, and all of them rock and roll. But I would also call them pop.
I would call, like, especially with Panic at the Disco, I would consider them like a pop rock band.
Rock pop band.
Pop rock.
Rock pop.
No,
Because not many people
rock,
know.
rock always comes second. Just like,
No, because
because like
if people
punk
know,
rock,
if
you know?
people know who they are,
Then they're
Then you-
popular.
right. So if they don't know, if there's not many people, like when they played, what was that, the Grammys or the
One of the award shows.
yes.
I don't know which one it was.
There was nobody was singing his songs, and I was like, "Oh my god, how do you guys not know his songs?" So to me, that meant that they didn't know, so
right.
he's not popular.
But they were popular enough to be on the show in the first place.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have been called. They wouldn't have been asked to be on the show if they weren't popular. Which is why you'll never see a Jethro Tull performance on the Grammys
Well,
or any of that stuff
No.
Obviously.
because they're not popular.
Even though they did win a Grammy. I don't know how,
I mean,
but
Nobody knows how. They don't know fucking know how.
Let's not go there, please.
They don't know either.
I guess I don't know.
it just, I don't know. It's a version of rock that I'm happy to see return.
If it is a real return.
Yeah,
It's a full
if it
return.
is, if it is,
Could just be a flash in the pan.
it could be a flash in the pan, but hopefully it's I don't know.
We'll see.
I like the music. I think it's really good, especially like I said before, a bunch of
Kids.
early 20s, and
They're fucking kids.
They are, and they're all brothers, except for the drummer's a friend. But
Oh, you know, whenever that happens, one of them's going to die.
oh god, Ian, really? Why?
I don't know. Didn't Skinner? Weren't they a bunch of brothers?
No,
Oh, then forget I said that.
Hanson's a bunch of brothers. I don't think they died.
So Ian, you
Did
don't
you-
know Fall Out Boy?
I've never listened to Fall Out Boy.
Centuries.
That's a good song. That's a
Remember me for centuries.
that's a really,
Oh yeah, I've heard that song.
that's a really good album.
Immortals.
I don't like that song though.
Uma Thurman.
That's a song or a person? Because I know Uma Thurman.
No?
No, I'm gonna have to listen to them.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, they've got some good music. I've almost bought their.
I tried listening to Panic at the Disco and it was a little rough for me. I mean,
I'm not a fan.
it just.
Both of you
Yeah,
stop.
I'm not a fan.
I'm not.
So
I'm not saying I
good.
didn't like it.
I
I
do
just
think
saying
so-
it was.
he's
they
so
do have a
good.
couple songs I like, but I
Is
don't
that
know.
the band that the kids dressed up for?
Yes.
Okay, that one song that the video that they dressed up from. I like that song.
There's
Yeah.
two different videos.
Oh, is it?
No, it was
well,
the same one.
Well, the
Is
one where the outfit Reese was wearing, that video where he's wearing that outfit.
Oh, okay.
That's the one I that's a good song, and it's got a message. I like that.
Yeah.
He has a lot of good messages.
Does he?
Yeah, like don't have a sexual predator in your band.
Not, he just looks really good.
Are you being facetious?
No, they had a sexual predator in their band they had to kick out. Okay, he was just caught with child porn. I'm sorry.
He's not, like you said, he's not in the band. The
Correct.
only
And they kicked him
person-
out.
Correct, because Panic,
don't-
Panic at the Disco really only has one member. All the rest
Brendan
of
Urie.
them are touring musicians.
Oh, okay. So it's like Nine Inch Nails.
Kind of, yes. Yeah, that's actually a good comparison.
Okay.
Which Nick just has to talk about all the time.
No, I don't.
No, they're just a touring band.
I think this is only
It's a
the
touring
second.
band.
I think this is the only second time I've mentioned it. Granted, they're both this week, but
What- Why does that matter? If the musicians are good, it doesn't matter.
I don't remember. I
Exactly.
don't remember what we were talking about earlier. But
He didn't want to classify them as part of the band.
because I don't consider touring musicians part of the band. I don't consider Pat Smear part of Nirvana. He was a touring musician.
Well, I mean, Alice Cooper has a touring band. He's still got a band, and
Okay.
his performance is going to depend on the quality of that band playing.
Okay.
So it's
They're part of.
It's Alice Cooper's band. If
Yes.
it's even if it's different than the last tour or the next tour, it's still his band right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
If the musicians are good, I don't care. I just want good musicians.
I understand that.
I just followed Greta Van
And
Fleet
he
on
puts
Spotify.
on a freaking good show. If you
Alice
have
Cooper,
never,
yes, he does.
Brendan Urie, Panic at the Disco. If you have never seen him, I mean and I did not expect it because this was my kids' band. I was like, all right, fine, I'll go with you. I'll learn a couple songs.
I'm going to tilt the mic down just a little bit.
Why?
Because
There you go.
Here?
Yeah. He's still going to fix it for you.
I'm going to fix it for you.
Okay.
Because you can have it just like that.
Okay.
There you go.
So it was the kids' band, so it was like something I was just trying to get into, and I was like, whatever.
And you had to listen to it anyway because you'd take him to the show.
Because I had to take him, and I was like into it. He put on the best show I've ever seen. Like, I would place him above everybody that I have ever seen. And I've seen a lot of people in concert.
Uh-huh.
But he put on Brendan Urie, Panic at the Disco, quote, whatever you
Right.
want to call him, put on such a good show. Like, he literally sang, what did he sing, 30 songs? Like, I've never
That's
seen
good. Was it like
a
2 hour show?
musician-
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I've
good.
never seen a musician sing so much. And then he didn't only sing his songs, he sang songs from his childhood. So he went up on the riser and played on a piano. He sang a song that his mom sang to him, and it was like a Bette Midler song. Or I can't even recall it right now. But like he played it, and like
Didn't he also sing Bohemian Rhapsody?
he did that. But he also sang Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, for her, because he was like, we're in Detroit, we want to do this for her, and like
Cyndi Lauper from
What's
Detroit?
she got anything to do with Detroit?
I don't know, but
Madonna's from Detroit.
Yeah, Madonna's from Detroit. Oh.
I'm pretty sure it was.
And so I give Panic at the Disco a lot of credit because, especially with that, because I've seen, now granted I haven't been to a lot of concerts in the last 15 years, but I've seen a lot of videos of concerts, and there doesn't seem to be a very common thing anymore
No.
to have
This was like-
have a performance.
Right.
You could not leave.
A lot of times it's like you're sitting there just listening to the album, basically.
If you wanted to pee, you could not pee. Like, you had to
Oh, that's
stay there
good.
because he did such a good job. He was so engaging to everybody.
I'm just impressed that he did a 2 hour
So
show because I went and saw the
amazing.
Black Keys. They're a decent band.
Yeah.
They and musically they're good. They've got several albums. Their opening act was Arctic Monkeys. They were okay. I dug it. The opening act was 45 minutes. Guess how long the Black Keys played for?
35.
45 minutes. They played the exact same amount of time
That's
as their
stupid.
opening act.
So you're not an opening act.
Right.
Exactly, which is fine. I mean, they didn't call it a supporting group, whatever. They don't call them opening acts anymore. But we paid to see Black Keys,
Yeah.
so the Black Keys should have played at least longer than their support group,
Yeah.
and they didn't. 45 minutes. That's one album. They have 4.
Yeah.
They couldn't have found other songs to play. And
That's pretty
this was
sad.
Joe Louis Arena. This isn't like a bar gig. This is
Yeah.
a fucking arena.
I think we were there for almost 4 hours. And he had 2 opening acts, and there was, little breaks in between.
Right, right.
But like, the opening
That's
acts were
what I'm
like
talking
45
about.
minutes, and then a break for 10, and then...
That's what I'm talking about. That's impressive because from what I've been told, the Black Keys model is slightly more common.
Yeah.
And I'm used to, again, I go to Jethro Tull shows. These are guys in their 60s. They play for a little over an hour. They take a 20-minute break. Then they play for another hour plus an encore.
Yeah,
and that's with an opening act sometimes, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The couple times I've seen them, that's how they were.
Yeah,
I think I've seen them
twice.
Is it twice?
Yeah. And these are old guys. And these are, comparatively to the young guys who can really be on the stage much longer.
Oh, yeah.
And are probably charging more for their tickets, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure. Yep. And this is one guy.
And this is
one
one
guy
yeah.
singing by himself.
Yeah.
Like, his band plays the band. I mean, they might sing a little bit of backup, but like,
He's the lead
is
singer.
the singer.
He's
Like,
the lead singer.
he's the only singer. There's no... He's lost a lot of people over the years.
Yeah. He's gone through a lot. But I'm excited for, so at the end of March, we're going to go to Chicago.
Yes, we are.
We're going to take the kids to go see MXPX in Chicago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. Because they tend to play longer sets.
Are they playing
also.
at the Chicago Theater?
No, they're playing at some hall. I don't remember the name of
okay.
it. Do you remember the
Chicago
name
Theater's a
of
good venue. I've been there a couple times.
it?
But it's a weekend trip, so we get to go to Chicago. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll take the train. We'll go see a couple other things. We wanted to see Hamilton, but the tickets were like $150
Yeah.
a person. So
And that's way
not going to
upstairs,
happen. Yeah, that was like mezzanine, like
Yeah.
worst seats ever.
Yeah, you
Reese
can't
was
see
like,
it.
well, maybe just me and you will go. No.
I'm surprised they haven't done a film version, not like a movie, but like filmed the play.
Yeah.
They're
Or
playing.
the
They're playing.
musical.
By the way, not to interrupt you real quick. They're playing
you're
the bottom lounge.
Okay.
I don't know how big. I don't know how big the venue is, but they're sold out.
So you're not driving to Chicago. You're taking the train to Chicago.
No, I think we're gonna drive.
Good luck finding parking.
That's
Oh,
the
no, no, no.
problem. That's
Yeah.
the big
No,
problem.
well,
you cannot park in a hotel. You cannot park anywhere.
Well, it'll be okay. Well,
Or it's $100 to park. I'm not exaggerating. It's $100 to
Well,
park.
Or
What-
we could just take the train.
when Jack and I went, we stayed outside of Chicago. But
Which is what I didn't want to do.
okay,
I wanted to
we'll figure it all out. I just don't. Train tickets for all 5 of us were over $400.
It was $300 for 5 of us. I think that's fine. Because by the time you pay for parking, by the time you pay for Uber everywhere,
Right.
if we just stay in town,
I don't know. We'll see. We still have.
Yeah, it's probably not. We don't need the show to discuss vacation
No.
plans, I guess.
we have to do it soon, though.
Yeah. But so yeah, I'm excited to go see them. By the way, Mandy, I was listening to Mike Herrera's podcast from last week, yesterday on my way back from school, and he was actually talking about the tour that they did in 2000 with
Where we went to
with the
Indiana.
Offspring. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because we were trying to figure it out a couple weeks back, and we couldn't remember what year it was. It was 2000.
That was the same year we saw him at Warped Tour.
Was it?
Oh.
Yeah, 2000. Because we
It
only
was.
went to 2, and they were at the 1.
And then we saw them in 02 or 03.
I think both. I think
No, or was it
we saw them in
04?
Detroit, and then we saw them before I had Jack. So it couldn't have been 04. I was not pregnant when we went. I would not have done that.
And you were pretty much pregnant through all of 2004.
Because who did the
I
who,
was after. Yeah. Yes.
who opened for them? It was
I think
Why am I-
they. I
why
think
am I
they
drawing a
opened.
blank?
You know what? I think they opened for somebody because
No,
we
no, no.
left
Remember,
after
it was
they played.
no, it was somebody that like we had never heard of that opened for him, and then like the next week, their opening band like went huge.
Excuse me.
You all right there, Sunshine?
Yeah.
When we went to Detroit, Good Charlotte.
Yeah,
opened
that's
for
what I'm
them.
talking. That's what I'm talking about. It was Good Charlotte. That's what
Yeah,
it was.
we went to them after that.
We went to what?
To MXPX after Good Charlotte.
No, that was the last
Yeah,
time
we
we
did.
saw them.
Nope, we saw them in Indiana after that.
That was 2000, babe. That was because when we saw them in Indiana, we saw them in Indianapolis open for the Offspring, which they were on that tour in 2000.
Kidoki.
I wasn't there, so I can't say.
And the only reason I know that is because he was talking about it on a show. That's the only tour that they've ever done with the Offspring.
I never liked the Offspring. They had that one song that was okay.
I mean,
And then
I
they
liked
sued
them.
Green Day over Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
did they?
Yeah. They said it was their song. They lost big time.
Well,
It
that-
didn't even go to trial.
Well, most things.
I mean, it
don't
didn't
go to
even.
trial.
It was like 2 weeks and it was done.
Oh, okay. They probably just paid him something and was like, okay, there
Oh,
you go.
maybe, but I don't know. I love that song. So.
It's a good song. But yeah, I mean, the Offspring. I mean, they've got a couple of good songs.
I can only think of the one. I can't even tell you what it's called. I just remember that one big hit they had.
Mandy had what was that? Americana, I think was the name of the album that you had.
I don't know. I like I said, they had that one song. It was in that one movie, Idle Hands.
With those one guys.
Yeah, the movie
With
Idle
the,
Hands.
You know, the one with the face. You know, that one guy.
Yeah,
He had the eyes and the mouth.
yeah. Do we have
Okay.
a topic?
I don't know. We're like 43 minutes into the
Right.
show now, so do you want to go into a topic?
Whatever. It wasn't really a topic, but it's kind of a topic.
I mean, it is.
We're
but
just
it is.
gonna. What were we gonna talk about?
So, episode 15 of the show.
That's in the we got way back in the
We're
way
going
back
way
machine.
back machine for that one.
Yeah.
We discussed like how we came up with the show and all that, right?
Right.
What we haven't talked about is how we all met.
Oh.
And that was kind of where I was going to go with the show today, but we got sidetracked for 44 minutes.
All right.
That's all right. Our meeting is going to be quite short.
How's that? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
so
we got to really dive deep into our memories for this.
So
It's a long time ago.
So I've known Ian longer than I've known Mandy.
Yes.
So I moved into
Your trailer
the
park.
trailer park in 91.
So I moved in December of '90.
So that was like the beginning of my 7th grade year.
Yes.
And that's when we met. But I don't remember. I remember like walking to the bus stop with you.
Yeah, that's pretty much that first day. I think we were all standing there, and I just asked you like what bus you were driving or something, and we don't like become friends right off the bat, but that was like the first time we met, and it was that first day.
Wasn't like the first day of school?
I'm trying to remember. It was you and like 2 other people. I don't remember who they were, and it might have even been one. Might have been your brother, but.
Jeremiah, Kim.
No, Jeremiah
wasn't living in the neighborhood yet.
What was that one kid's name? Ben something.
Ben.
Maybe it wasn't Ben. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking something
Was
else.
he older or?
Yeah, I think he was in my grade. He was in 8th grade.
I don't know.
I don't remember. But it was you and like 1 or 2 other people.
That's like 28 years ago. I'm trying to remember.
That's why I said we're really going to have to dig deep into the gray matter for this shit. Yeah, I mean that was my memory of it. I
remember like that summer, like I hung out at your house like all summer, and we would like just listen to music and get your sister in trouble. And I don't think we smoked.
I did. Sure I don't think you did.
I didn't.
No, he didn't start smoking until like 94.
Yeah, 94. Yeah.
So I was smoking, but I don't know if I was smoking around. My sister would have ratted me out.
Oh, I'm sure.
Every time she caught me, she ratted me out because little bitch.
But I remember getting your sister in trouble.
Yeah,
because I went over to Ian's house one day. It was during the summer.
Yeah, I was working.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was working at that tree farm. I only worked there for a few weeks because it's like a seasonal thing.
No, you were out golfing with somebody.
Who the fuck would I have been out golfing? You're the only person I ever went out golfing with.
I don't know. Your sister said you were golfing because we were making like 4 jokes and things like that.
Who the fuck?
Well, maybe she said.
Oh, I must have gone out golf. I know how I went golfing with. Yeah, I remember that now.
Who'd you go golfing with?
Ryan Dillon.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah. Because I knew it was something. So I don't even remember what happened, but you're like, we thought you were coming in the door, but it was your mom that came through the door, and your sister was yelling "fuck" or something like that,
which was very out of character.
Your mother looked at me and was like, "Nick, it's time to go home," and I was like, "See you later, Sarah." Out the fucking door.
Right.
But and that was at the Blue House. You were living in the Blue House,
single wide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But and I remember like we spent like the whole summer listening to like. Wait, was it? I think it was that summer we were listening to Inagana Davida, or was it? I don't remember if it was then or if it was when we were in high school.
That was a little later. I think that would have been like we were listening to Alice Cooper and Guns N' Roses, like rock stuff.
Gotcha.
You know,
we were just like
that was even kind of pre-Tull with me. I wasn't.
Oh, that's right.
I was into like, Tull, but not like
I was
fully
like,
into Tull.
Where the fuck did you get the name Ian from?
Right.
You're like, I don't know. They named me after this goofy ass singer that plays the flute.
I didn't quite put it that way, but it wasn't much better than that because I was still not quite into it yet.
Yeah.
I had to mature into it.
And then like the next year, so I went into 8th grade and you went into
9th grade.
9th grade. So we didn't hang out like at all that season.
Because we were on different buses.
That summer, I said season. But
we were on different buses and different sections of school because back then junior high was miles away from the high school.
And then Mandy, what year did you move in? So anyone that doesn't know, we all grew up like around the corner from each other.
Yeah.
93, yeah.
Yep. So 93.
So I am a year younger than Nick. Are you 70?
78, so you're 2 years
2 years younger than Ian.
Yeah. So
I never knew Ian in school.
Really?
Well, you did after you met me.
Yeah, because
I don't remember you ever being in school with me.
High school is 4 years. You're only 2 years younger than me.
So you're there for 2 years of it.
I don't ever remember.
So
you
when
being
did you
in
start
school.
hanging out with Sarah?
Pretty much
the year that I moved there.
Yeah, right away.
She picked on me so bad.
I don't understand that. My sister is many things, but I've never pictured her as a bully.
So if anyone's listening and trying to follow along, Sarah is Ian's brother.
Sister.
Sorry. Sarah is Ian's sister, and her and Mandy were friends.
So Ian was born 78.
Yep.
You were born 79.
Yep.
I was born 80.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah's born 81.
Yep.
So Sarah is a year younger than me.
Yep.
And I moved there in 8th grade. She was there in 7th. And she picked on me so bad.
Did she really?
That's
really funny.
Like I said, my sister is many things.
You used to hang out with Beth all the time, didn't you? This is probably
we're going down deep memory lane here. This is deep cuts, and if you don't know us, it's basically just nonsense.
Isn't that all our shows ever are, though?
I suppose.
No, I thought we had to have a clear backpack for school, so I brought a clear backpack, and then
because Mandy came from the ghetto.
Yeah.
Right, and so I was just trying to follow
yeah,
the
'cause
rules
they
because
need
I
to be
didn't
able
want
to
to
see
get
in your
kicked out.
backpack.
So yes, they had to be able to see in our backpack. I thought
Yeah.
because I was going to Lincoln, but apparently that's not the same thing.
Yeah, you
so.
weren't in the hood anymore.
No.
Right. Sarah laughed at me, so I brought a razor to gym class because I thought, whatever,
Yeah.
we're going to be in the shower. Well, might as well shave your pits or something if
Might
you
as well
got
do
to.
some grooming while I'm in
Right,
there.
Right.
why not?
She was like, "What are you doing? That's so stupid and funny." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I never want to live here again, so I don't know what's
Thanks.
going on. Like, why am I getting picked on by this girl?" It was horrible.
Especially that girl.
Yeah, really, Sarah? She doesn't listen to our show, by the way, does she?
If she does, she won't after this episode.
Well, maybe she'll
I've already
finally
called her.
realize
I've already
what she
called her a
did to me.
bitch once.
And I laughed at getting her in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the next year, so when I was a freshman in high school is when we started hanging out
Yep.
again.
Yep.
And like Ian and I would like sneak out to the woods with a box of matches and we just like light shit on fire.
Including people.
Oh, you did.
I said Dan on
you
fire.
said Dan on fire. So rubber cement burns really good.
Yeah, and I stole some from the workshop.
It's like napalm. So what you like lit it on fire, didn't you?
Well, I put some on a stick, and we had a couple jars. And for some reason, it was like this heavy duty plastic. I thought it was glass.
Yeah.
So I put some on a stick and lit it, and then stuck the stick in the jar and lifted it up. But it was plastic, so it started melting from all the heat. And I went to go throw it in the air, and it melted off of the stick and landed on Dan's back.
And he bitched for like
Dan Meyer?
Yeah,
Yes.
he bitched for like over
Because
2
there was
years.
this big burnt rubber cement stain on his jacket the whole year. He couldn't get it off.
terrible.
He was your
so
grade?
so Ian was the bully.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Dan was in my grade.
I didn't do it on
Oh
purpose.
my God, Ian and Sarah are bullies.
I'm not a-
Oh my God.
But then again,
I
hold
am
on. You
not-
guys
no.
called me a fucking bully earlier. So what the?
No, I'm not a bully because I did not mean to I did not mean to set Dan on fire.
So you're an accidental bully.
It was just an accident
Oh, okay.
because I felt really bad
So,
about it.
I
A
remember-
bully wouldn't feel bad about it.
Speaking of Dan, I remember one time I was over his house, and I don't know what the hell we were doing. If anyone listening, I used to smoke a lot of pot when I was younger, so we were.
Yes.
I'm sure we were high because they were always smoking pot. But
Dan,
we
and
decided
his
to
group
light.
took pot smoking to a whole nother
Oh,
level.
him and yeah. So I think it was his brother decided they were going to light off sparklers or fireworks or whatever it was, and I think they were lighting them off the stove inside their house and like running outside with them.
That sounds safe.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They used to smoke pot inside a little shed with lots of cans of gasoline around them. So I don't know.
Didn't we all?
No.
I smoked cigarettes around cans of gasoline.
Yeah,
'Cause I
you didn't. You never.
I never blew myself out. No.
No, I was, well,
You bloom.
you did
no.
have that melted face that one time.
Do you,
Right.
do you
That's a
remember
callback to a previous
in the
episode.
blue single wide, Jeremiah almost set my hair on fire.
Yeah, with a can of
Hairspray and a freaking.
lighter.
I was like,
So-
why am I here? What am I doing with these crazy ass people?
And you married one of them.
But that's the whole funny thing about this whole story is Mandy and I didn't like each other. Like,
You didn't like me?
You didn't really like talk to each other.
well, you
though.
were Sarah's friend.
I hated you. I don't think you didn't like me. I think you just didn't know me. I did not like you because you were an asshole.
You're kind of trashy.
He was an asshole.
I was not. That is the first word you can never use to describe
Well, hold
me.
on one second. Hold on one
I
second.
was
I would
never-
say, now knowing you, no, you were not trashy. You tended to hang around with some trashy people, though.
Like my sister.
I lived in a trailer park.
We
I
lived in a-
didn't
we
have
lived-
much
didn't have,
choice.
You didn't
we
have to
lived-
embrace it.
We lived
I
in like-
didn't.
We lived in like a high-class trailer park, though.
And I didn't. You just
Really?
for the time, yeah.
Yeah, for the time, yeah.
So what made me trashy then?
I didn't say you were trashy, Mandy.
He prejudged.
Didn't he
yes.
just say
He prejudged
I was
you to
talking
be
about.
trashy.
I was talking about what I thought you were at the time. Was all I was saying.
No, never knew that.
You were just boobies to me. Because you had big boobs. You still do, but I mean, that's all you were to me.
I was. Do you remember? I fought the law and the law won.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite thing I remember from our childhood. I was singing that with you.
Oh, yeah. You were still just boobs.
Nick was just an asshole, and now I really know he was
So-
an asshole. But he was a trashy asshole. He was the trash.
Well, just because he was vulgar and
Yeah, I was vulgar.
yeah, still are.
Not
You've
so
tamed,
much.
You have tamed,
Yeah,
but you're still vulgar. But
I'm kind of old now, but I'm old vulgar.
yeah.
But I remember like one time. You remember when we almost got arrested?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait. What's this? I was the only one who was going to get arrested.
So I remember.
Who's trash again?
Hold on one second. Hold on.
Keep going. Keep going.
I'm going to tell the story. Hold on. So it was. I think it was the night that Princess Diana died.
It was for context for Mandy, it was the night of Sarah's 16th birthday party, and you all stayed over. And Jerry, my stepbrother, brought home the ice cream cake and put it in the fridge that night. Just for context.
I remember.
Why did you put the ice cream cake in the fridge?
He's an idiot. But anyway, continue. I just want to give Mandy context.
Okay. So we used to go hang out. It was every
Saturday.
Every Saturday, Ian and I would go down to downtown Ann Arbor and hang out on campus. And so we had picked up my ex-girlfriend, who had bought like an ounce of pot that day.
It wasn't even a lot.
It wasn't a lot. But so we parked in the parking structure, and I don't know why, because we were just idiots. We decided to get stoned in the parking garage.
Now, I was driving, and I was the responsible one, so I said, you two have fun. I'm going to get out and smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, so we're sitting in Ian's car, which you had like piled your feet on top of all the trash in his car.
Well, yeah, coffee cups, pop bottles, cigarette packs.
So I remember like Ian was behind the car smoking a cigarette, and so she just rolls up a joint. We're just passing it back and forth, and like the second or third time I like took it from her, I just happened to look up in the mirror as I saw a police car stop right behind us.
Yep.
So I took this joint and I like shoved it down in the trash.
It was just a roach, really.
Yeah,
it wasn't even that big.
Yeah, it wasn't even that big. So I just like
big enough.
I shoved it down in the trash. And what did the cop even say to you? Do you remember?
When he got out of the car, he goes, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm having a cigarette." Like, kind of in a snotty way, because I was standing there with a cigarette in my hand.
Yeah.
He goes, what are they doing in there? I said, I don't know.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I'm out here. I think I even said that. I was like, I don't know. I'm standing out here. And he goes, well, we got to get them out of the car. And, of course, it smelled like weed at that point.
Of course.
Lined us all up. And well, I don't know how accurate this was, but I was informed that the only people who was going to be going to jail that night was going to be me, because it was my car.
Yeah.
So that was the extent of my fear of that night.
So he's told you were going to jail that night?
Well, and I don't know why, I don't know if he said that just to get me to rat you all out, because and this is the shitty thing, is they found the bag because Tiffany, I don't know if I won't say last name, just tossed it behind her, and she's in the back seat, so it's just by the back window.
No, it was behind her.
Oh.
She's talking behind her back.
Oh, okay. I thought they found it up there.
No.
But either way, she just put it behind her. But apparently they said they had to find the joint that we were smoking.
And they couldn't.
They
couldn't find it in all
They took all the coffee cups.
Thank God Ian's car was full of trash.
Right. Coffee cups, pop bottles, everything out. I was even asked if I lived in my car. I was like, how could I live in my car? There's no room. So, I was a kid, messy car. I haven't grown up that much. But anyway, a little bit, but not too much. So they 2-3 hours, 2 hours minimum. We stood there while they searched through my car.
But the one thing I remember from that night is so they ended up letting us go after
because they couldn't find the joint.
They took our pictures. They took a picture of your car, and then they let us go. But I remember, like, at one point, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but I'm like standing there, and the one cop was kind of cool. The other cop was like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, they were doing good cop back.
Yeah,
they kept doing it to me.
But the one cop, like, at one point, unstraps his gun, and is like, he looks at me and goes, just run. I just want you to run. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not running anywhere.
It's like you're black.
Almost. I was profiled by the Ann Arbor police.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing was, at the end of the night, after this whole thing happens, we get in the car, and I swear to God, I just like reached down and grabbed the roach back up.
And it was right there.
It was right there.
They could have found it at any point.
Any point.
Yep. That was a fun night.
Yeah, it was.
I never want to talk about it again.
Well, now it's out there for everyone to hear.
Yeah, but see, the shitty thing is regardless, even if there was a ticket, even if it was something as minor as a ticket, it still would have been my fucking ticket, and I wasn't even smoking.
It wouldn't have been your ticket.
It would have been because I was the one with the car.
It doesn't matter.
That's what they kept saying. That's what they
'cause
told me
they're
like 50
morons.
times.
Because they're morons.
Oh,
Because they wanted you to rat somebody out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they already had the weed, so I just said it's her weed because it was. She brought it. They already had the bag, so
Yeah, there was
where, and they kept asking where the joint was. Like I kept saying, I wasn't in the car.
Yeah.
I was not even in the car. You pulled up. I was outside the car.
That was just a really strange night.
Yep. Now, Mandy, what you need to do is you need to elaborate on why you said, "Oh, I remember that night."
Which one?
The night of Sarah's 16th birthday party, because as context, I told you that was the night, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." Now you got to elaborate.
Was that the night that those guys stole that stuff from your mom?
No, that was later.
That was the first night I ever drank.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
What, at 16 party?
Yep.
Oh, did you get drunk?
Yep.
Did you get really drunk? Like pukey drunk?
No, you didn't drink a whole lot, did you?
No.
If I remember how the story went, but
No, I went home, broke up with my boyfriend because I was mad at him. They made me sleep in my bed, told me to take a shower. Then I went back to Sarah's house, and then Jerry was there, and you know how he gets, but...
Yeah, I remember. Huh.
But so it's just the first time you got drunk. That's
So what you're saying is Jerry was a predator because you were all like 15, 16-year-olds.
So hold on one second. So Mandy and I started dating after your sister's high school graduation.
Yes.
Was it
arguably you could say you started dating that
Trash.
night?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Oh, Mandy, knock it off. That's not what I meant. Was it that night where Jerry was like, he kept taking his ring off, and
Yeah,
he's like,
just
"This ring
saying-
doesn't mean anything."
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember that? I was
Mandy nodded. For
I was
I just
like,
didn't know if that was appropriate to share.
He's never going to listen to
he's
this.
not going to listen to this. I didn't say last names or anything.
Yeah.
And no one knows who he is.
I wish I didn't know who he was. But anyway.
That's terrible. Yeah, that was a really long night. Because I remember, I think I got there
I'm not going to
early.
go into any details, but it was longer for me, I assure you.
I I started drinking was that your mom had multiple coolers full of beer.
There's no shortage of alcohol at those kind of parties with my
That's true.
family.
That's true.
Hell, there was beer left over for 2 weeks after my graduation party, and no one cared about my graduation party.
I did.
It's because you got to drink all the beer.
Well, okay, that's all right though.
Yeah.
Do you remember
you didn't go to my fucking graduation party. You just drank the beer afterward.
I didn't go. Why didn't I go?
You were there for 10 minutes, and then you left.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Because you're an asshole.
No.
You were there for
If I was there for only a short period of time, is because I had something else.
you left with Corey. You and Corey went somewhere.
Oh, oh no.
I don't know where you went.
Was your
I had to stay.
Was your graduation party on a Friday?
Nope. It was a Saturday.
Huh. I don't know then.
Yeah.
That's strange. But anyway,
You stayed at my sister's entire graduation party, but you stayed for 10 minutes of mine.
well, Mandy kept me there.
Uh-huh.
But do you remember after the couple weeks afterwards, you guys would sneak over to my parents'
I
house?
wouldn't sneak. She would. I remember sitting at my dinner table, and Mandy comes around to the kitchen window with, I forgot who you were with. Were you with maybe Amanda? More?
Maybe.
You're like, Ian. And my mom and stepdad are sitting there too, and we're like,
They were through the window.
like, what the hell are you doing out there? I got to ask you something. Go to the goddamn door. So Mandy wanted me to go with her over to your house.
Maybe that's what it was. And you guys were I was.
Because we were not allowed to walk on his mom's floors. You had to take your shoes off.
I don't think you guys were even at that level yet. This was before
I
that.
was too afraid because I knew you could not wear socks or bare feet
Well,
in
no,
her
that's
mom's
not
house.
true.
She would come behind you.
No,
and
that's not true at all. Ian, is that true?
Well, I never paid attention. I know your mom was a very, and still is,
Okay.
a very clean and neat person.
Okay. You just couldn't wear shoes in the house, which that's completely
Or
normal.
socks because it left
No, that's not
marks
true.
in the carpet.
No, you had to wear socks.
Oh, that's right. You couldn't wear bare feet, which I was always barefoot. So
Whatever.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, this is early days. You guys were not even official yet. You were just kind of I mean,
Hanging
you'd
out.
done official things.
Oh, Jesus. Ian.
but you weren't quite official yet.
We weren't. Yeah, we did not do that many official things.
So,
Again, I'm not going into any
you guys would,
details.
so you guys, I remember like I'd get home from work and like pass out on my floor in my bedroom, and you guys would like.
I only remember that was her. I was only there that one time, and that was because she wouldn't let me eat. She went to my fucking kitchen window.
She's like, Ian, don't eat. Come with me now.
No, she's like, just. I gotta ask you something. I'm a nice guy. I can't say no to anybody.
I don't remember that for the record at all.
Well, I do. It was funny.
I do remember
I
going
will
to
say
his
this.
window.
As
but-
far as my mom and stepdad were concerned, it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
Yeah.
Because I've been in your life like our entire
right.
life. But
So,
for me to have to go to his front door and walk into his house, that was
yeah.
terrifying.
I don't know why you didn't go to my front door and knock
I
on the
don't
door.
know either.
Because Sarah wasn't there. Sarah was somewhere.
Maybe
she was
that's
working.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe
Hey,
I was.
Speaking of your sister, real quick, do you remember the one night we were like, I think we were sitting on the couch just watching TV,
And she came out. She gets out of bed and walks out. And
she
sits
thought
on the
it
TV,
was like 7:30 in the morning.
and it was like midnight. And she's like, "Put the news on." We're like, "What the fuck do you want to watch the news for? It's midnight." It's like, I always watch the news before school.
No, she came out and was like getting ready for school.
Yeah, well, that's what
what
she.
he just
yeah.
said.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
She. I don't know if she still does. She used to sleepwalk a little bit.
Did she?
Yeah, she walked out of the house one night.
I don't remember that. I
Well,
remember hearing.
I don't know
about
if this would have been around the same time.
that. Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of strange.
Well, there's nothing normal about my sister, so
But it wasn't. Didn't so we ended up together basically because of Ian, though, didn't we?
yep. Yeah.
What was that story, Ian?
Oh.
Because he didn't warn me
Since
enough.
we're trying to prod
Well,
you there.
For a while before that, I would make little jokes. Nick really likes you, Mandy. He's really into you. And he'd go, no,
And
he's-
he was not. It was not even true. Like he had no interest in me, but he did that.
And,
to-
but I would do the same thing to Nick, though. I'm like, Mandy's
I
totally
didn't know
into
you did that.
Yeah, I was
Uh-huh.
like, Mandy's totally into you, dude. I'm like, you could totally hit that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you owe your entire marriage to me, good or bad. You owe it all to me.
Kill.
But the other-
Hey, look at the kids you got out of it.
so
I can have kids with anybody.
Yeah, but you
after-
got good kids.
Hey, but hold on. Remember this though. So Ian lived with us from '99
Yeah, because we lived in an
until
apartment and then a house,
2004. But it was Mandy that made me kick you out because she didn't want to be the bad guy.
Well, because we were having a baby,
And they needed
we
a-
needed the
you- you
bedroom
know.
for
She's like,
child.
but
I knew that it wasn't like that was a big surprise.
It wasn't a bad thing. We only had 2 bedrooms. It was me and you.
I know, but
And then
still-
we had
you
a room for a child.
you still made me go kick him out.
He didn't really kick me out. He just said, hey, we're going to need that room for the kid.
Get the fuck out. And I
If
mean,
it would have been my best friend, I would have had to do it. It was
Yeah.
your best friend. So.
do you remember Ian's alarm clocks?
Oh my god.
Multiple. That's plural.
So Ian had like 3 alarm clocks that were all like over 100 decibels. I mean, they were
Yeah.
like the most ungodly things.
And I couldn't hear them at all.
I remember like one point. Do you remember this, Mandy? We walked out in front of our house. We walked out in the middle of the street, and you could hear Ian's alarm clocks,
And he could not.
and he could not.
I
You would
slept
they,
right
would-
through
they would
them.
go off, and you're like, shit. You have to get up in there and like go bang on his door to wake him up.
And
That always worked.
sometimes
I heard the
it didn't
door.
even-
But
work.
do you remember when we lived in the apartment? We went in to Ian's bedroom to wake him up. We jumped on his bed and broke his bed.
Yeah, they instead of just being like normal people and knocking on the door, going, "Hey, wake up!" They both ran in and jump on my bed, and the bed just
Dropped to the ground.
and we were on the second floor. That was fun. Those are good days.
Yeah.
Those were good days.
So,
I don't know what we're gonna do when our kids leave. We've never lived alone.
really,
Yeah,
that's
but-
true.
Yeah.
I'm terrified.
I'm not
Ian-
moving back in
Ian-
with you.
Ian,
Can I live here for free? I'll do it if I'm living
fine,
for free.
Fine,
Ian will be ready to move out of his mom's house by then.
Right.
fine. That's fine. You can come back for free.
Oh, she doesn't listen. I'm ready now.
We'll make
She
it.
can't. She can't have me move out. That's the problem.
I don't
If
know.
I
We
had
fun
room,
times.
I would let you know. We don't have room.
You remember?
I don't- yeah.
You remember? So there was one time we had a party at the house. And,
We always had parties at the house. Our house. That house was called the party house
so
in the
and,
neighborhood.
and no one was doing anything bad. Everyone was just drinking, and like
Legally.
Yes,
yeah,
we're all legal at this
everyone was
point.
legal at this point. And I remember like Ian was in his bedroom and he comes out and he's like, "Oh my god, what is going on out here?" Because we're all like chain smoking cigarettes, right? And Ian said the smoke was like rolling underneath his door.
Ian was complaining about
Yeah, that's. I think that's kind of the point, because if I had been in the room with you all, I would have been chain smoking too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
But yeah, I saw the smoke like coming under the door.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
Was that in the house or in the apartment?
That was in the trailer.
Okay, I couldn't remember which one, but I
Yeah.
remember that situation.
Yeah, that was good. We had a bunch of crazy times.
Yeah.
Everyone hated it though, because like everyone would sleep over, and well, they wouldn't sleep over. They just like pass out,
Crash on the floor.
and I'd wake up at like 8:30 in the morning.
Because
like,
you were
Kick everybody
and I'd be-
out because
no,
he was an
I-
asshole.
No,
he would
I would
just-
just wake everyone up.
Yeah, he'd just wake everybody up.
And kick them out.
No, I didn't kick them out.
They just left of their own accord because they
No.
didn't want
They
to
were
be around.
terrified.
No, I normally end up making breakfast for everyone.
Yeah, a lot of times people didn't leave early.
Yeah.
No.
It was just
Everyone would just hang out. They would just be awake,
they'd be awake.
and I'd make food.
Yep. Very good days.
Yeah. The old days. Any other stories?
Oh, there's tons of stories, but I'm not gonna. There's a lot we shouldn't tell.
Oh, yeah,
lot.
there's a lot legally I can't tell. Oh, remember the time I cut Ian's neck?
Yeah.
No.
Do you remember that? So we were in
Your dad gave him the knife.
So we were in the apartment. Was it?
Yeah, it was the
knife?
apartment. Yeah.
Well, no, it was. Oh, you're right. It was the knife that her dad gave me.
Yeah.
So we were
We were all
drinking
drinking so much
illegally because Ian was the only one that was
of legal
of
age.
legal age
Yeah.
when we lived in the apartment.
Corey was there too.
Was he?
Yeah, that was the night. Corey was there with one of his girlfriends. I don't remember which
okay.
one.
Probably Jocelyn or somebody, but
No, I don't
it
know.
was
He never
pretty-
brought her around.
No.
He didn't.
I don't
The
know.
only one he brought around was the one he married for
Oh, that's right.
24 months, opposed to the 18 months I gave him as a limit. He's gonna pay me back for my fucking tux.
So we were just drinking and hanging out or whatever, and I had this knife, and I don't know why, what possessed me to like put it
Well,
against Ian's neck.
Well, you're like, I'll cut you, and you kind of like put it like near the
on
side
the
back of
no,
my
it was
neck.
like the back of your neck.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, right. And then we just went
And you were like, "Oh my god, I'm fucking bleeding."
No, we sat down and because it was like kind of in the hallway, and we went back and sat down, and I felt like this cold on my neck, and I just went like this, and there's blood. I'm like, you fucking cut me. And then we just laughed for like 10 minutes. I didn't even feel it. I didn't feel a damn thing.
So, but were you there the night I stabbed your mom?
Yeah.
Why don't you? We were just like drinking and hanging out. There's gonna be a recurring theme to some of these stories.
Yeah. Because you stabbed Corey too.
Yeah, but so I don't even know what I was doing with the steak
Don't
knife.
drink with Nick if there are.
I was doing. I don't even know what I was doing with the steak knife, and like I was gonna go like put it away, but I was like screwing around. I was gonna go like stab it into the block, and your mom put her hand up, and I like stabbed her right in her hand.
She probably didn't feel it.
Yeah, that's all right. But yeah, with Corey though, I think it was the same knife I cut you with. I was like playing with it on his back porch, and I don't know what happened, but I like slipped and like stabbed him in his elbow, and he like squirted blood on my shorts.
He got it the worst, I think, out of all of us.
Yeah.
He probably bled more than all of us.
Of all the people I've stabbed.
Yes. You're really not good at stabbing because no, you didn't kill anybody.
That's a good thing.
I know, but
I think I'm good at stabbing then.
no, stabbing is to kill. So you're terrible at it.
No, that's not. I don't think stabbing is to kill.
I think most people who
I stab my food. I guess it's already dead.
and you're consuming it.
That's true.
So either you were trying to consume us or you were trying to kill us.
Whatever.
I don't know. Yeah, good times. Good times.
What about you, Mandy? What's one memory you have from living in the trailer? Do you remember anything?
Yes.
Like?
Well, it wasn't the trailer, it was the apartment. And it was probably the worst night of my life when we went to Canada with Corey.
Oh, I remember very well.
Do you really?
Yes, you vomited chocolate martini in the back of my car.
All the
It
way
wasn't-
through the tunnel.
It wasn't only chocolate martini.
No, but-
it was regular martini. It was Jack. It was Johnny. It was Jose.
Oh, yeah,
It
we
And
were
was,
whatever else you had eaten that day.
Doing Four Horsemen is.
uh-huh.
Or,
Yeah, thank you, Corey.
For the
Smith.
record, I was driving, so I didn't have a single drop. I got no enjoyment out of that day. And I told Manny when we got back, you need to clean that up. You didn't
And I
clean
did.
it.
I
No,
did.
there
Yes,
was
I did.
No, because it was.
she
it was-
tried to clean it.
Oh, you tried to clean it. I'll give you that. I'll give you that because I went in a few days later and there was still dried vomit on the
Well-
carpet.
Because it was probably needed to be trashed at that point. There was never so much vomit in anybody's
I'm
life.
surprised you couldn't find like a bag or something back there. Maybe it all.
I cleaned the car out. The car
we were
was
stuck
clean.
in the
Oh, that's
tunnel,
right.
remember?
Yeah, that's right. I'm surprised he didn't
We
puke out the
couldn't
window.
open the door. We couldn't. I mean, we were in the tunnel from Canada, so
Yeah.
like there was no. You could not get out, and I was like,
And here's the thing. I think you were intentionally trying not to let us know you were vomiting because you didn't make any noise, and you were very.
I'm a very quiet vomit.
Okay,
I love
I'm not.
To vomit,
I'm
so.
like if I vomit, everyone around me is going to know. I'm
Yeah.
vomiting.
I
Nobody
I puke
knows
from my
when I
toes.
vomit.
Yeah. But
I could vomit right now, and you guys would not even know.
But I happened to look up in my mirror and look behind, and I saw your head go down like this, and I went like this. And I'm like, she's fucking vomiting.
It was so bad.
It was bad.
It was the worst.
That was a good
worst. Like I've
But
never drank like that. Like I don't know what happened. Like, well, I do know what happened. It was Corey. It was freaking
Yeah.
Corey.
that was the night. Was that the night that was open mic night? He
Yes,
played
we
Patience.
sang.
Yeah.
We sang, and then we sang "Leaving on a Jet Plane," and there
Yeah.
was martinis, and then there was beer, and then there was wine, and there was everything.
I
But
don't
it was
think we had
all.
wine.
You know what there was for
It
me?
was all in the wrong order. There was
Coca-Cola.
nothing.
Yeah, Ian had
Sorry
a lot of
about
coke
your
that night.
luck. You chose to do you.
I chose to drive. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Corey wasn't even. He didn't even ride with us though.
No,
No,
it was
he didn't.
him and Austin met us up there.
Was
Yeah.
it Austin?
It was
Yeah.
somebody. I
By the
don't.
way, did you guys know he died?
No.
I think I did.
Yeah,
We
he
did.
he
Yeah.
died back in like 2006.
You probably
I wanna
told.
say?
You probably told me that.
2004, 2006.
What did he
yeah,
die
yeah.
of?
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know. I just saw
Is he the camping guy?
camping guy.
They camped.
It wasn't
They
camping.
didn't camp. They were homeless.
They were living.
Yeah,
in
they were living in a tent out in
yes,
the woods. Yeah,
that was him.
Yeah.
And then also on
Yes.
campus.
Yep. Yeah. So
Oh,
that,
yeah,
that was
yeah, yeah,
Austin.
he lived-
But yeah, so I saw, I had like Googled his name one day, and I saw his tombstone, a picture of his tombstone online, and then there was, I did find somebody was like had like posted a message about, I know he had troubles, and so I don't know if it was
Suicide or something.
drugs or something.
Huh.
Yeah.
He was
His,
hardcore.
Yeah. He had,
More so than the rest of us.
yeah, but he was.
yeah.
I mean, he was a nice guy and all.
Yeah,
He's-
Oh, he was good. Yeah.
Was he the one? His major pickup line was "Well, fuck me."
No, that was his cousin.
Oh, okay.
That was his cousin. So his cousin would go to parties and just like walk up to random girls and be like, "You want to fuck me?" And he said it would work sometimes.
I'm
So
sorry. Yeah, I'm sure he did because some girls are fucking stupid.
yeah, it was just the way he said it too. It was like, "You want to fuck me?"
And I'm sure you have to be somewhat good looking to get that to work, and then it probably does work.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, even if you're not good looking, I'm sure it will work sometimes. Not nowadays. You try that now, you
Yeah,
end up in
with
jail.
some women.
It just depends on where you're.
I mean, nowadays you can't even tell a woman she's got a nice rack. I mean, what the hell's going on with society now?
I know
That was supposed to be funny, kids.
it was funny.
Oh, okay.
I'm laughing inside.
Inside, haha.
I can't laugh out loud because again, I'd be accused of sexual harassment too.
Oh, okay.
So, right, Mandy?
I don't know.
She doesn't.
Yes, Mandy's not
I don't
following
know.
along.
So
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
It's we've let the audience in far too much. I think in our personal lives.
I don't know. That's what the
We
episode-
could go a lot farther. And I just don't want to do that.
Yeah. I had some other some stories I was going to tell too. Mandy, anything else? Story-wise?
Well, tell some stories.
Right.
Oh, I remember like, so after Jack was born, our oldest, we moved in with your dad. And like was it every Wednesday? We had like polish off a bottle of rum every Wednesday. I have no clue
Captain.
why. Well,
Yeah, it's wrong.
It's wrong.
That's different. It's Captain,
well, spiced rum.
right?
It was special.
Everybody enjoys a Captain and Coke.
I don't even remember how we started doing that though. It just happened.
My
one day, I
dad.
think. I don't know. Your dad liked smoking cigars out in the garage. I remember that.
Huh.
Like every day after dinner, he'd have a cigar outside.
Huh. Do you remember that
Where
one
are
time?
you going with this?
Remember that one time we skipped school and we went to the party store and you bought that big fat ass cigar.
It was so nasty. I'm
I
smoking
mean, this thing was like
resin.
stogie. We're talking stogie. Yeah, the spit and
The resin was dripping
just
out of it.
dripping out of it.
It was so nasty. It was like seriously like $1
Like,
cigar.
but it was like the
No.
huge, like
Yeah.
big old brown dick cigars.
only Ian would go there. I was gonna say like a garden hose size. Ian,
It was a big, yeah.
it was penis size to
Right,
Ian. So
Do you know the one time I skipped school? The police came.
Did they really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why?
What happened?
Well, it was the whole thing at your house, the Beanie Baby thing.
Oh, yeah, where the kids stole your mom's Beanie Babies?
So I skipped school one
They
time.
didn't steal Beanie Babies. They stole necklaces and jewelry.
Oh, okay.
No, it was Beanie Babies.
My mom told me it was necklaces because I'm the one who got in fucking trouble for it, remember?
Okay,
I didn't even
well-
live there.
The cops and everybody else said it was Beanie Babies. But, so...
That's stupid. Why would they call the cops for Beanie Babies? I was told that jewelry was taken.
I don't know.
You were living with your dad when that happened?
No, I was
No,
living.
he
I was
was
living on
still
my
there.
own. No, I lived on
you
my
were
own.
still there.
No, I lived in.
Yeah,
I
you
lived
were.
in Brownstown.
No.
No, that was before.
Al called me in Brownstown to tell me what had happened. I was living in Brownstown.
96? You were living in Brownstown?
97. In 96, I was living at my dad's. I moved out right after graduation.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah,
All right, maybe it might have
Yeah,
been
Ian
then.
wasn't living there. I do know that.
All I know is I skipped school to go eat Taco Bell, and the cops came. And I was like, I will never skip school again because somebody called the cops because I went to Taco Bell, and they were like, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, God darn it. Like, one time I skipped school, they're gonna... And I was like, I just wanted Taco Bell, officer. And like,
Did they come to your house or?
no, they came to the school.
Oh, they came to school
Police
looking
came
for
to
you.
the school looking for me, and I freaked out. I'm like, really? This
How'd
is
you
gonna
find out
happen?
about it?
Me?
Yeah.
What do you mean, how did I find
How'd you find out the cops were at school looking for you?
They came to my classroom after I came back. They called me down to the office.
So she
and
was.
were
She was
like,
skipping.
"Where are
She
you
was
at?"
skipping.
I came back. I went to lunch for 1
Got
hour.
you. Okay.
Skipped school for 1
'Cause,
hour.
yeah, we had
and
closed
then came
campus.
back, and then
Okay.
we had closed campus, so you weren't
Yeah.
allowed to leave. So I skipped school for 1 hour because I had like 4 hours of choir. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, that was me.
Yeah.
And I left for 1 hour, and then they came back, and they were there, and I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. It was terrifying.
I remember I got Ian to skip school one day. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. What did we do? Did we just
We went
like,
over what's her name's house, and then we went to Briarwood. Tara, I think her name was.
Oh,
Invisible
that's right.
robots. Invisible robots.
No, that was somebody else.
Oh well, that's who we went to. We went there and we went to the mall.
Yeah,
She had-
okay, we went to. No,
No, that was Amy.
Oh.
So no,
No, she
so
had the things in the gun in the closet.
I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah,
She had
you're-
guns or she had warfare stuff in there.
Oh yeah, because her dad had all that Vietnam stuff. Oh yeah, that's where I got the RPG from.
Oh.
The-
I just remember Invisible robots.
yeah, that was
That
something
was-
else.
I think-
That was
I know that was
still
something
her.
else, but it was that
That was
girl.
still her.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
It
it
was
was. It was her. We went to her
But
house.
so anyway, yeah, that's right. We ended up hanging out at the mall. I remember the only time I got caught skipping school was I had.
Excuse me.
You're awfully coffee tonight.
I got sick 3 weeks ago. I'm going to be coffee for like the
The
next
rest of your
6
life.
months.
It's called emphysema.
He also
so
has coffee in his
I
hand.
know.
So
I was like, I was talking about coffee.
ha ha ha.
So yeah, Kim and I went and hung out, and like she ended up like stopping to get gas, and my freaking dad just happened to drive by and saw us at the gas station. That's why I got caught.
Oh, I never got caught
I don't know, because you only skipped school once.
twice.
Did you do it
Well,
twice?
3 times actually. Yeah, 3 times. Because there was that one time where my parents were out of town. They left like Thursday night or Friday morning, and I got ready, took you to school because you didn't want to skip, and I went home
I don't remember that.
because Sarah was staying with Mandy, and her dad was driving you guys to school, and he saw me leaving, and he made a comment about when the cat's away. So,
That's
to you
funny.
guys, because I heard about that later.
Which he would never say anything.
Well, I didn't get in trouble, so I would have.
He did catch me. Okay, so one time I did skip in middle school, but I skipped to go in the bathroom and finish my homework.
You rebel.
Yeah.
I know.
You stick it to the man, Mandy,
So my dad was like, "Really? If you're gonna skip, you need to skip in high school for something important."
and go. Yeah, do something.
So I
else.
skipped to go to Taco Bell.
That's fine. I don't think I skipped school very often. I remember like one time, Dan.
It was always April. She would always talk me into those stupid bean burritos.
Oh, really?
Mandy, don't you want a bean burrito from Taco Bell with all the cheese and the red sauce? And I was
Sounds
like,
sultry.
fine. Let's go get a bean burrito. It wasn't that often, though.
Yeah, I remember like one other time skipping school, and like Dan and I just went and hung out in the woods all day, smoked cigarettes and like burned stuff.
Yeah, that's a little worse than doing your homework in the bathroom.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You were the rebel, man.
Yeah.
I was a complete rebel.
Yes.
White trash rebel right there, doing my homework in the bathroom.
Is that really?
How is
that's
that
not
white
really
trash?
I think she's being sarcastic.
Yeah, because he called me white trash.
I didn't call you white trash earlier.
Huh.
I was talking about my perception of you at the time. Whatever. Hey, Ian, you know how women make really good paleontologists?
Because they like to dig up shit.
Because they're really good at digging up old shit.
Well, it was
You
not
did
old
kinda
shit,
bring
like,
it up.
You just did it like 2 minutes
Whatever.
ago.
You
so.
kind of just threw the shit out on the table and said, "Hey, look at my shit."
And I've never heard that before, so that was a little shocking.
It was 30 years ago, almost. Remember you used to Mandy used to borrow cigarettes from you. Remember that?
She used to borrow cigarettes from all of us, Nick, because she was a smoker who wouldn't admit she was a smoker.
Is that what it was?
Because I never bought my own.
And then she started. And then she stopped borrowing them from you because she said yours tasted nasty and she liked mine better.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, because I smoked Marlboros.
Yeah, and I smoked Winston.
Winston's.
And she would.
His
She
had a better
It
flavor.
even got to the point where she was not even telling me she was taking them. She was just taking them.
Oh, really?
But I didn't take that.
Was that
many.
after?
Guys,
is that
come
after you
on.
lived with us that she was stealing from you, or?
Well, I couldn't steal
It
him
was-
after he left us.
Right.
Oh no, I was asking if it was before.
No, only when he
he-
lived with us.
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
asking. Was it before we moved in together, or?
No.
Okay.
No,
No,
it's-
no.
I don't ever remember even seeing you smoke before we lived together.
No.
No.
I
And
didn't
even
smoke
then,
that
it was
much.
sporadic.
It was just it was sporadic, but it was just because everybody I lived with smoked. So
Yeah.
I was like, hey, let me have a cigarette.
That was a long, long time ago.
Yes, it was.
Do you
We
ever
smoked
crave
a
them?
lot.
Oh, so when I walk into the hospital,
does.
I walk.
do.
Oh yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
So when I walk into the hospital when I go to work, there's always like people out there smoking. There's been a couple times I've like walked through a cloud and I'm like, that smells so good.
I just want to try one.
But after I quit, so I
Don't.
quit.
Yeah.
I know I
Yeah.
won't. I never will again.
I
but-
quit smoking September 27th, 2006. It was 2 days after Reese was born.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm not kidding you, for like 2 years, 2 solid years, I would have dreams
Of smoking.
of smoking. I would like, it would be a dream of me sitting in a chair smoking a cigarette. That's all the dream would be. It was like the weirdest fucking thing.
My dad said the same thing when he quit.
Yeah.
Because he quit for over a year.
Yeah.
And he said for at least 9 months he was having dreams about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they would be weird dreams, like, just not weird, but just felt weird dreams. It felt like weird dreams. It was
Yeah,
always
that's crazy.
smoking.
Yeah, it's been almost, this would be 13 years since I quit.
Yeah. It's been almost 2 hours since I quit.
Can we finish up the show or?
I just
I guess we can wrap
I'm just
this up.
pointing out that my blood's starting to itch a little bit here.
Okay, all right. Anything else to add then, guys, since you want to be done with this
No.
episode?
No.
You don't like me
We have a colored past, that's all.
bringing up some interesting stuff? I remember there was one night in Maine, I just sat there and like I was
Told
working-
everybody everything.
Yeah, well, that wasn't everybody. It was me and Nikki sitting over there, and I was telling her all of our crazy stories
Yeah.
that I won't go into on here. But I don't know anything else to add.
Some of them, I'm thinking. I don't want to say too much.
Well, yeah. So Corey lived in a crack house for a little while, so I've got
Yeah,
some crazy stories.
That was
from
exciting, and I was
Yeah.
only there once.
You never went over there, did you, Mandy?
No, did you
You
really?
did?
You went to the crack house?
Ann Arbor.
Yeah. So there's
We
this.
were there with Austin.
So there was one guy that lived there. He was like, I don't remember what his name was, but he called himself Kenyatta. And this guy had been smoking crack since like the 80s, right? And I remember like we're sitting out in the living room just drinking beer or whatever. And he like kicks open the door from his bedroom and he runs out and he pretends like he's got a shotgun. He's pretending like he's shooting all of us. It was just the weirdest freaking place.
You leave out how you met him, how Corey introduced you to him. He said you were a narc.
Oh, and he pulled a knife on me. Yeah, he was going to stab me.
He was going to fucking kill you.
Yeah, I had to convince him that I wasn't a cop. That was interesting.
Yeah. At least he didn't make you smoke crack to prove you weren't a
Yeah,
cop.
that's true. That's true.
Because we wouldn't be having this conversation
No.
very most likely.
Yeah, but then there was another guy that lived there. His name was Derek, I think. And that
was he the big fat guy?
No. It was the little skinny guy. But we would.
Oh, he was the white one. Derek was the white one?
No, he was a black guy.
Oh.
But
If you are a crack addict, I'm pretty sure you're not that big.
Well, there was a fat guy who lived there too, and he
but
would
the
like
fat guy. He was
the one
nasty.
who he bought hookers all the time.
Yes, he would pay them crack so he could have oral sex with them.
Ew, okay.
Yeah, it was
Well, this
disgusting.
is way more than we.
But
need to
no, hold
share.
on one second. So Corey and I were under age. I think we were like 20 at the time, so we couldn't buy beer. So we would take Derek down to the corner gas station. We used to call him Uncle D. But so we would buy. So he'd buy beer for us, but we had to buy him a bottle of vodka. And so we'd get back to the house, and he would down this bottle in like one drink, and like sit down on the couch, and then
I remember him. Yeah,
he'd like get up and like throw up blood, and then just go sit back on the couch.
Because he did it when I was there too. I didn't see him drinking, but he was obviously drunk when he was there. Because he came up into the Corey's bedroom and was just like chilling with us, like he was part of the gang, and I was very uncomfortable.
He was like,
and he just grabbed a bucket for the garbage from the corner, just like threw up in it, and it was all reddish and disgusting, and just set it back down and just kept talking. Like it was nothing. And I'm like, and he walked out to go somewhere. I'm like, dude, there was blood in that.
That was a really weird place. I've got a lot of stories from that place.
Yeah.
Though. People like knocking on Corey's window in the middle of the night to buy crack, and
he's
we'd
like,
have to,
next window over.
Next window. Yeah, I don't know.
Should have put in an intercom. That would have been really cool.
Crack next door. Beep.
Make your payment at window 2 and pick up your crack at window 1. Would you like fries with that?
Terrible. Oh, anything else to add, guys?
No.
No? Mandy, nothing?
Nope.
Mandy doesn't talk about her crack days.
No.
She leaves that for her memoirs when she writes them.
Yeah.
It's all make-believe.
I don't know. There's been a couple times I've been like, I was like, this is really interesting. This would make a pretty good movie, but some of the stuff we've been into.
Nothing with me involved.
No.
God, no.
No.
You vomiting in a car, that could be a scene in a movie.
Maybe a scene, I guess, but
woohoo!
I don't know, guys. Well, thanks for coming on the show again, Mandy.
Yeah.
We'll have to do it again.
If she doesn't divorce you over the trash comment.
Oh, whatever. She'll get over it.
She was pretty pissed. You could tell it through the mic.
It's not what I meant by it, but okay.
I know, but it kind of came off bad.
Yeah. Well, anyway, any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@lifeandjournalpodcast.com. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook and all that, and follow us on Podbean and iTunes. Okay. And I don't know what the pause was there. And check out our website, lifeandjournalpodcast.com. It's got all of our previous episodes on there. Well, until next time, thanks for being here, Mandy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mandy. We love
Thanks
it when
for
you're
having
on.
me.
I love it when you're on the show.
Until next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Bye.
Play my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Your old lady drop a crowd around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the ring. Got you two cobras, you wanna hang. Shoulder to shoulder, the niggas basic. You know I won't lie. You know that I ain't for that fuck shit. You niggas alright, but I'm way better and she love it. Know that you're sick as fuck. Here go this tissue, bruh. We taking the dub. Hoping you get you some. This hit like a pick me up. She taking my drugs. Know they see the sign. That's some dollar signs. Know they sick as fuck. Know they sick as fuck. Tell them get well soon. Tell them get well soon. Know you sick as fuck. Get well soon. Oh shit. Watch out, you the god, Billy. Oh shit. Right now, and I'm smiling in your face, bitch. With a gold smile, you should probably make placement. To your eye, niggas sick as fuck. Standing with niggas who down for that party. Who down for some bitches who showing their bodies. Swear to God, nigga, this Molly got me up.